welcome to the SmackDown review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by from WhatCulture, here to review everything that happened on this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2K. We done about AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to review this Friday's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. It was on Friday. I just love some Friday Night SmackDown. Thoughts?
I've got a few. Just in general, I've only got a few thoughts right now. Look, we're a listening podcast, are we not? Mm-hmm. The people wanted hungover SmackDown coverage. And then on Friday, I thought, I don't think I've quite delivered that.
Oh, so this is today?
Is that what this is?
So let me go get accidentally faced on a Sunday night.
Yeah, where was this on Thursday night?
What they want.
I saw this tweet and I was like, no.
Yeah, I've been having to pick my spots, brother. That's
This
what it
all
is.
makes so much more. I've been this whole morning thinking, like, what is it today?
Yeah, he's a
what's
bit off.
today's gripe?
I can only make so many towns, brother. And I was at a gig last night, and just it's funny how at like 4 p.m. you can forget it's a Sunday, like your third pint.
Who was it?
It was a multitude of acts. It was a big charity gig in Sunderland for like a homeless charity, and Sunderland's a well-regarded music city, and all the artists from the city, so the likes of the Futureheads, Frankie and the Heartstrings, Field Music, and countless others. Ruth Ann Boyle, the singer of "You're Not Alone" by Olive, she's from Sunderland. Like just loads and loads of the Sunderland music scene came together for like a Sunderland homeless charity. And it was, now this is where I kind of misjudged the thing in my pre-drinking. Because I thought, this is a cool thing. 7 or 8 artists on the bill for a very affordable ticket for a good cause. And it's going to be like and here they come and do a couple of their songs.
Yes.
Here they come and do a couple of their songs.
Same.
Yeah. Got pissed. Arrived for doors as the ticket requested for like a night of entertainment. I thought, well, fair enough, it's Big Bill. Congratulations to Big Bill, by the way. He got married.
Yes.
This weekend.
But, and Lexi now,
yeah. But yeah, so loads of artists, and what a misread. It was, the marketing of it was Live Aid themed. And what they did was, all the artists performed songs from the Live Aid lineup. In some cases, dressed as so like, it was great. So like the Futureheads did stuff as Queen, for example. Paul Smith from Maximum Park did stuff as David Bowie. Hey! So you get like, and it was like really, really well done. There was like the whole Live Aid lineup, not the entire one obviously, but like lots of the famous Live Aid performances as then mimicked and performed by these artists, like rather than doing their own stuff. You had like Frankie from Frankie and the Heartstrings, like in the Bob Geldof look, saying "Give us your fucking money" and all.
I was going to say, did someone do that?
Whole nice touch. Seated.
Oh my God.
No.
What?
The opposite.
I love sitting down, mate.
I massively misjudged.
Fell asleep at the start of the show.
Just how pissed, like getting in there, and it's like, this is quite. It's like there was videos in between about like sort of these hungry people and how like what the good causes that the gig's doing. Arsehole. Just like
I just couldn't help but think of like the entire WWE roster as these hungry people.
yeah, not starving rats.
And not starving.
Shoot starving people at Christmas time. And just like getting not at the
Kind of serious.
do it to be or something like that. Like just it was brilliant. A brilliant gig. Sunderland is a music city. Want to be very proud of, but just drank too much beforehand. Like just on the shots at 5 p.m. because the instruction of doors 7:30 meant well get the drinking in beforehand.
Yeah.
And then just a couple of late ones after their gig. So like,
So you were saving yourself for them.
That's it. He wanted nothing to do with us, did he?
not entirely. Come on,
No.
I was,
Got smashed on, what was it? The
I was
weekend
also
before?
coming off the back of the Leeds
You were
weekend.
thinking it.
Yes.
I was thinking it. You were saying it. That's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
I didn't.
It's fine. I mean, it's not like we only get one night to go out a year.
One
so.
night, yeah. Anyway, so feed the
And
kids up.
whose fault is that? Yes, it's our children.
Yes.
So
Come again?
like,
Sorry?
yeah, I have plenty of nights out with you, Nicholas.
No, whose children?
We get yeah.
Do you?
Well, we do okay. We have gigs and stuff like that. You are correct. We only get one night out a year. But I told you all along that there was pitfalls to becoming a Dudley boy, and you went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of worth it.
I'm glad it's worked out for at least one of us.
Right, let's talk post-Survivor Series SmackDown then.
I already can't remember what happened on the show. I'm so
I'll tell you
excited
what,
to
like, I'll let you know, it was goated.
Yeah.
Because, well, apart from the opening of the show, where it was just a laundry list of people injured following war games. And I'll be honest, I appreciated that, of like, here's why these people aren't going to be on the show.
Yeah.
I did not need the slow-mo, and here's how they shattered their ankles.
Oh, man, the Bronson Reed one.
Yeah, he suffered a broken foot, I believe. And he had an x-ray and all that. Tongaloa suffered a torn bicep, and Jimmy Uso has a broken toe. Get well soon to all three of them.
Yeah, it was sort of. I thought it was quite effective though when you saw them later on. Like even though they were just total bastards the whole show, the new bloodline like decimated by war games, like suffering the consequences of that match, really put over the match itself, but also like how the new bloodline need to regroup and what they're going to do to try and get the dominance back and all that sort of stuff. I thought it was quite effective actually having something that you were missing.
Fallen into place for them to be like, we need a 7-foot Samoan to replace the people we've lost.
Yeah, true, yeah. Like, it makes sense that they would potentially try and recruit now, so.
The show properly opened with them arriving at the building, barging past Apollo Crews, who quite rightly is like, oh, right here. And they're like, let's kill him. Jacob Fatu just kicks him in the head and beats up security.
Yeah, it was good stuff, this. It was good.
Or Apollo.
Yeah, they look like assholes.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
God, it's a throwback. You got, can we have an Apollo for old time's sake, please?
Yeah, hang on.
For those that don't remember.
Yeah, yeah.
So Apollo Crews in NXT developed the ability to see through time, both things that had happened before and things that were going to happen to him. And he seemed to do this by developing pink eye. His eyes would go like sort of bright reddish pink. And then, oh my God, Apollo's seeing things. None of them would really lead to him winning titles.
He got a title match out of it.
Yeah, but he couldn't see that he was going to lose that match, otherwise he probably wouldn't have had the match.
Yeah.
And we theorised that, where's the pink eye come from? A mystery assailant was farting on his pillow.
1 to 19?
16.
Where's my fart?
Dude, where's my fart?
Oh, I see what you've done there.
Dude.
Thanks, iPhone. What was it? 16?
16, please.
That was worth it.
That is a ripper. Is there a Christmas one on there yet?
I don't know what. Oh, hang on, I've got an advert for registered gas services.
I bet you do. I like what they've done there.
That's appropriately festive. Drag.
Yes, be free fart.
Worth every penny.
That's it, the free fart.
Be free fart.
Oh, be free fart. I thought it was like, here's your free fart.
I thought that's what it
Got
said
to
as
pay
well.
more. Like, you got to get the premium.
I
version
will.
we have.
I'll take it out of our budget if necessary. Adam, what's this charge? This recurring £10 a month. Oh, is it for Netflix for the channel? No, it's the fart app.
I thought you said jar then, and I was thinking of jar of farts, which is what, like...
Christina Perry used to say.
Yeah. Was that your era?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, they got a lot of play on those radio stations, didn't it?
That and Lana Del Rey, Jesus Christ, it was a dark time for music, that wasn't it? Cheer up, everyone. That never happened.
Christmas, Lana.
You think you are fucking around farting in jars. Jesus.
Going round fine. Gives that jam? Jam smells like farts now. Go around farting in jars.
I've ruined that song for some people now.
Oh, that's really got me.
Collecting your jars of farts. It works so well. Why did no one put that? Christina, can't help but think.
It's the going round. Thing is, she's been going around farting in jars.
She got a Christmas song.
Oh, Christ. I don't know.
I love that. Christina Berry, something about December it's called. I don't know.
It's something like that. Christmas lights, another fight, farting in my jar.
Christmas album out soon. Cody Rhodes comes out to properly start the show after Apollo Crews has been had his ass kicked backstage. And you know what he says? He's out in Minneapolis. He comes out and says, "What do you guys want to talk about?" As he always does.
That's what he says.
That's what the fans pay to see.
What does he say?
He says, so, Minneapolis. What do you guys want to talk about? Talks about their return to Saturday night's main event. Says it's the honor of a lifetime just to compete on there. But it's not that simple because of Kevin Owens. But before we can get any further talking about KO, he's interrupted by Chad Gable and the rest of America Made. He comes out, obviously a local boy from Minnesota. Says he's the greatest athlete to ever come out of here. Crowd are like, yay! Gable talks about a transfer window and says, hey, all of us might be coming to SmackDown very soon. But then the people get made a mug of by their hometown hero because he says, you have to remember that people here in Minnesota are simple-minded and gullible, so you have to explain everything to them. Yeah. Hey, that's where we're from.
They were made mugs of, weren't they?
Yes. Sure were. I haven't got anything in it.
But I don't agree, and I don't think people do need it explaining to them or things being laid out, laid on thick. I think people
especially after I went to whatculture.com/shop and bought this mug using code WrestleCulture for 10% off.
Yes. People don't need that.
They don't need it. Anyway, he talks about how Cody was a beacon of what he wanted to be, an unmatched work ethic, dressing the part. We can all dress the part, he says, in the suit. That's easy. What's not easy, though, is being a good friend, and you haven't been a good friend to Kevin Owens. He says, I know a thing or two about bad friends. That idiot Otis leaving me at my lowest. I've concluded you're a bad friend. You're totally superficial. You went so far as to team with the man who made Kevin Owens' life a living hell. Whatever's coming to you, you deserve it, he says. Cody's like, I've got some mates. Everyone is my mate. And I was like, yay. And he's disappointed that Gable said what he said because he can see a lot of himself in Gable. Taking things not special, making them special, maximizing his minutes, he says. He brings up Shorty G, Shorty G chant. He says, well, Shorty G, you're looking at Stardust. And there's a Stardust chant. Cody says he knows all about what Gable's going through. And you probably think now you've got nothing to lose. But what happens when you fail again? He talks about losing at WrestleMania 39. And, compares that to Gable being the leader of America Made, and he puts over all the members, says he's going to insult Brutus maybe if he loses, or get rid of the brilliant Ivy Nile, or make Julius crumble, shifting the blame around. And Gable's like, I would kick your ass if I wasn't wearing this suit. And Cody says, really? Say that again? Fair enough. Lace up your boots, and I'll go and see the SmackDown GM, can't remember what his name is, to get a match one-on-one between the two of us before tonight's out. Oh, and by the way, Chad, I've got Owens on my mind, and that's no good for you.
Speaking of SmackDown GM, can't remember his name. Is this an okay time to talk about the transfer window?
Yes.
I thought this was a good promo.
I have an idea, by the way.
Oh, I thought it was a good promo to build up a one-night match that was able to make use of Cody's bigger picture thing, and I think there's more to talk about at the end of the night than the beginning, as relates to both these men, actually. But, the transfer window was sort of the not that subtly hidden takeaway from all of this, wasn't it? Like, they could have just put this match on television, but it was like, no, let's make a reason for it, and then it gives the wrestlers a chance to talk this thing into existence, and then we find out a little bit more. Two things. One, it's pretty cool. Brackets general. Quite into this, quite into the potential of it. Two, is there like an American sport that uses the term transfer window, or am I kind of already into this because they've used one of ours?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know of a transfer window in American sport.
No, it's all drafts and what have you, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, it feels very football, and that's quite cool.
That's why I thought my idea, you have your big money swaps or whatever it may be. I don't know whether it's like you can get more people than you get rid of, or whether it's, literally just like, right, we've lost this person from the roster, but we can bring in this person or whatever. I want some talent to decide that they are fed up of the show that they're being on and pull was it Pete Rodemwingy who just drove to a different team?
Don't want nobody, baby, but you. That's what I was thinking when somebody says Pete Rodemwingy.
He turned up at QPR,
Yeah.
being like, yeah, probably going to sign for them, and then didn't, and was stuck at like
Has to go
Baggies
home,
or
yeah.
whoever.
Was West Brom, I think, yeah.
So I want someone to just show up on SmackDown. Oh, have you been signed to SmackDown? I'm just hoping to get signed, to be honest.
Yeah, I just
I'm
look.
fed up of Monday Night Raw.
It's like the Miz still on the run
Yeah.
for like the Final Testament of the Wyatt Six. Let me.
you've got to sign me.
He's like crawling on his hands and knees. He's at like Ava. She hasn't got to say in the Rock Daughter, general manager of NXT's door. Just anything. He'll do anything to get away from his current plight.
Well, anyone would go to NXT after that deadline, PLE. Jesus Christ.
Indeed.
Oh my God.
If you wonder when we're going to talk about it, it's going to be tomorrow on the NXT preview. And if you follow me on Twitter, you probably can guess my feelings on it. Sensational show. A late contender for show of the year, that.
Yeah, I can't do those podcasts tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to talk about it other than right now. I still maintain that you are not working the gimmick that people think you are about the Iron Survivor.
And I mean, folks, where's the lie?
It is it's simultaneously the kind of like high-octane thrill ride they like to market it as, and like a warm cuddle of a match.
Brilliant.
It is so, like, thus far, all 6, so well booked, so well presented. Like, you never have... It's a match that theoretically could, like, overwhelm you with information, but doesn't. And keeps things on screen in a way that allows you to be, like, locked into any bit of it at any point. Like, they've really got the production of it spot on.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the problems when, like, TNA would be accused of just coming up with total wacky garbage... hat on top of
They
a
had
hat
a
on top.
penalty box.
They had a
King
penalty
of the Mountain
box.
match, wasn't it?
Yeah. King of the Mountain
Who was
is-
good at that?
There's one guy, the King of the Mountain, Double J Jeff Jarrett, that knew his way around that match, let me tell you. Which is probably why I liked it as much as I did. Because a lot of people kind of
Hanging the belt was dumb.
so dumb, and would do this all the time. But one of these sort of the things when they were kind of coming up with these daft ideas was that then when you'd watch them play out, if it didn't really go to their plans, it sort of like, I don't know, it left a stain. Like Ultimate X is this incredible thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
literal high wire acts in some cases. But then like every now and then the X would fall down or the belts would fall off, and you're like, well, this is pretty flawed, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've got to, if you're going to like sort of roll out one of these, not complex, nothing in wrestling is that complex, but just more rules than your average, where you need to put some bullets up, and straight away it's a bit of a red flag of people being like, if this kind of can't be explained succinctly enough to not need bullet points, then maybe you've gone wrong. Not the Iron Survivor. It sort of flies in the face of common thinking, I think, with pro wrestling. There are a few rules. There are a few like different sort of connotations, and all of it just plays out in such a wonderful way. And they do take work. You do like the not just to sort of lay out the match itself, but the people involved. I think you've got to
Back timing as well.
yeah, like have the right sort of set of characters to do the right kind of spot, and then against the clock is so impressive. We won't talk about it now. I guess people have seen the show. I'm guessing if they've watched this. Quick NXT spoiler if you haven't watched it yet. The finish in which Julia
Oh my God.
wins the Iron Survivor with maybe like 3 or 4 seconds left to allow Stephanie Vaquer to try and get a cover herself, but only with a couple of seconds on the clock, had enough people looking at the faces thinking, oh, was that a shoot? Did that go wrong? Because like Julie looks shocked and Stephanie Vaquer looks a little bit miffed, and it's like, well, probably didn't go wrong. That's probably just them working their characters, but that's what that clock running down allows you to think. It allows you.
I was panicking about another spoiler for it. Skip forward a minute if you don't hear this. Obafemi going, oh, but you've come out of the thing and you've got 90 seconds, mate, and you're 2 down. Or you're 1 down, you need to win. You need 2 to win.
And then the double is, the way it's done. No, excellent again. I think I'm lower on the rest of the show than you, but the tag title match again was excellent.
That tag title
Excellent
match.
again. Yeah, they're like great to see. Like Tavion Heights is one of my like low key favorite NXT guys, and
Breakout performance from him there.
Nice to see him having that kind of showcase. And he fracks him a magic. They're just absolute magic.
Best tag team of the year, no question for me.
It's not even a close race, is it? It's not even a close race.
Not even flipping close. Backstage, Naomi and Bianca Belair are chatting. Whoa, bloody hell. What game was hard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Belair's got like ribs taped up, the Kinesio tape on there, and Naomi's off for a triple threat in the US title tournament, of course. In comes Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, who mock Bianca for looking for the person who attacked Jade Cargill. And quite rightly, Bianca says, maybe it was one of you, maybe it was you, Piper Niven. They get into it, and 2-on-1, especially with the injuries. Bianca has to sell the injuries, the pain from War Games, as well as the attack.
Yeah. Again, sort of wider point about this SmackDown, I would say, they're going to have some real fun with this hoodoo, aren't they?
Yep.
Like it is
so am I.
It increasingly appears to be Naomi, and I think
She was very guilty. I think it was later on.
Yeah.
Couldn't take my eyes off her.
And I think that's the fun bit of this now, isn't it? Like as we see people getting ruled out or possibly brought back into the frame or whatever. It's good stuff. Like this a lot already.
Alrighty then. The ace, as I like to call him, Jesse Ventura, is on the front row. He is going to be on the broadcast team for Saturday night's main event.
That was a good Jim Carrey, actually. Yeah. That's a nice bit of business, all of that was. He folded that together lovely. That was
an essential part of my childhood, in case you hadn't noticed.
It was like a Triple H linking together of things there. I was really impressive. You're very good.
Thank you. US title tournament. It is Naomi versus Elektra Lopez versus Tiffany Stratton to see who faces Michin in the semi-finals, of course. Again, similar to what they did with the BFAB match, I felt here. A bit of a showcase for Elektra Lopez.
Can I be... I don't disagree with you, but I think I've just got to be more critical.
Yeah,
I think the attempt was the same.
Yes.
It didn't play out like that, really.
Naomi's banged up, though, so she gets chucked out. Tiffany Stratton's very popular. She's in her Minnesota Vikings colours as a local hero again. Lopez drops both of them, though. Stratton cartwheels over Elektra Lopez and sets up for a basement drop kick. She also hits the handspring elbow, but Naomi hits a high crossbody to Tiffany Stratton. There was a spot that almost went horribly wrong. Naomi does that thing in the corner where she dodges a charge. She's stomping on the mat and she's going to jump off the back of Tiffany Stratton. She slips and almost just spills to the outside. That could have been really nasty.
Yeah.
Catches herself though. There's a double springboard stunner. But Stratton's back up to a double stomped on Naomi on the apron.
Love that.
Lopez hit a blue thunder bomb to get 2. Stratton makes the last second save there. Naomi hits a rear view on Stratton, but Candice LeRae comes out for a distraction. That allows Lopez to break up the split-legged moonsault. Naomi hits a layout reverse DDT and the moonsault, but Stratton breaks all that up, hits the prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3. Tiffany Stratton's through to the semis.
It was a failed attempt, I think, to give Elektra Lopez that kind of
noble failure.
Yeah, that same shine that BFAB got. I did enjoy this match though. What was useful was obviously the hometown thing for Tiffany Stratton, but it was kind of ideal for them, almost like road test what Tiffany Stratton, the babyface, will look like.
Yeah,
pretty great is the answer to that. Just getting to do stuff with the fans behind her immediately reframes so much of the gymnastics stuff she does, rather than and I use this word, it's a swearing coming, in the most 2024 complimentary way I can. In her very style of offense, it becomes immediately crowd pleasing in front of an audience that actually wants to watch it. It is so it's so visually pleasing and yet quite dangerous looking. It's the I'm thinking of the drop kick on the apron in particular, or that she lays that moonsault in, and there are just things that Tiffany Stratton does with a gymnastic background that as a heel are perfect, because it's oh god damn it, that's really I wish you weren't good at this because you're pissing me off. But as a babyface, all you need to do is just keep doing what you're doing and the crowd will go with you. So the hometown advantage it was really smartly used by WWE, I thought, because it's not like this makes her a babyface overnight.
No.
But then they kind of played, we're talking about the show quite a lot, they played up to that again at Deadline, even just popping in for a cameo. A massive reaction. And she was like, it's funny when they go back to NXT and all of a sudden they're 20 times more confident than everybody around. Tiffany Epiphany, I always seem to have them down here, and it's like, you are just, the main roster does things to people. It adds this extra layer of gloss or sheen or something where they're like, you're a megastar here now, where you were once just part of this roster. And that's what she felt. She felt like this star babyface.
Yeah.
On this brand for a second. And I thought it was a good weekend for Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I love Tiff. It is weird, isn't it? Whereas normally in previous years, maybe less so in the last couple, but in previous years, you'd be just sort of sitting through main roster WWE going, well, I have to watch this to keep in, but they're not going to try again until January. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, they're trying now, and it's we're going to try even harder in January.
Yeah, whatever you think we're doing now, it's Netflix time on January the 1st, and the first Raw on the 5th or whatever it is.
6th, I think it is, yeah.
6th, yeah. It's just, they're outright telling you, advertising it as such. This is massive. Like, this Raw debut on Netflix is our first major destination of the year. You cannot miss this one. There's every reason to just be so like jazzed for it all, isn't it? And I'm saying that ahead of a Saturday night's main event, which we're going to get, which I'm equally pumped for. It's brilliant.
It's going to be on. Andy was saying it's going to be on YouTube.
Yeah,
Which class?
Yeah, they're absolute swines with their ads, like. And I'm not here shooting on YouTube adverts. Thank you very much, overlords. But like, I'm interested in how that's going to play.
Yeah,
like I wonder if they were mulling over having it as like a Netflix pilot sort of thing, and then thought, no, there's something about the first live thing is going to be this Raw, and they wanted to save it.
We go to the back for something from Byron Saxton. Oh no, we weren't going to go there actually. They're just here in their ear, and Byron's there, and we see that the men who are going to challenge for the tag titles tonight, the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, they've been attacked. And SmackDown GM's there. They need medical help. He's like, bloody hell, what a nightmare. There's the Motor City Machine Guns. They were like, what the hell's happening now? And Johnny Gargano walks in and says, well, if you need us, DIY can always step in. And they're like, you're a good friend, Johnny Gargano. I like you. You're a nice guy. Let's go. And the only problem that SmackDown GM, can't remember what his name is make sure Tommaso Ciampa doesn't make me regret this.
Thank God this ended how it did.
Oh, my God.
Thank God this was the plan.
It had me in the first half, I'm not going to lie. That tag match, I was like, oh, no, where's this going?
Yeah. No.
More on that later.
All good.
So Bianca and Piper, after what happened earlier, had a match. They fight over a braid. And Niven, because of Bianca Belair's injuries, kind of gets the advantage. She hits a splash. Chelsea Green is also out there to distract Bianca, to allow Niven to hit a sidewalk slam for a 2 count.
Samantha Irvin is missed.
Yes. Niven hits a running senton when Belair tries to fire up twice. Belair fires back up. Niven goes for a splash, but Belair moves. She just runs her between the turnbuckles, smashing her face off at the crowd. I'm loving it. There's a nice near fall from Bianca Belair after a crossbody. She hits a spear for a 2 count, a sort of desperation spear again. Tries to get her up for the KOD, but bloody ribs her. And Niven comes back with a nice looking Saito belly to back suplex.
Yeah.
Niven runs at her. Belair fires back with a spine buster, goes for a moonsault, but Niven gets her knees up. She goes for a cannonball, but Belair moves. Niven hit a great Piper driver, that powerbomb of hers with a "This is awesome," quite right chant echoing around after that happened. Goes up to the second rope, but Belair cuts her off. Green tries to interfere again. Belair's like, in you come, drags her in, and manages, fair play for her, manages to get Niven up for the KOD onto Chelsea Green to get Bianca Belair the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's super impressive from both women, as usual, as they often do, not just against each other, but they're two of the sort of safer hands in this division for a good TV match. This match, probably more than anything else we would have talked about from last week's offering of WWE and AEW, was the quintessential example of a point I've tried to circle whenever we've talked specifically about like business not being about us getting excited about towering graphs or the money in millionaires' pockets, but what it actually does to the product. This was a good match, fine, like very, very like good work.
Good show from Piper Niven here, I thought.
Just good, like decent match that was relatively stakes free, and it just reminded you that Bianca's all the things she is. Kind of shows you that Piper Niven can like very easily like level up depending on what they do, what her and Chelsea Green are doing. All the difference made by like a locked in crowd. The crowd was super, super into this. And when we're talking at the moment about these cold AEW buildings, or when is a good match not enough, things like that, it's when it can't generate a reaction like this, because the reactions this got elevated this to being something a little bit more memorable, or a bit more like visually and like hourly interesting and appealing, as opposed to the kind of the opposite with, say, like a really strong Continental Classic match that plays out to silence.
Yeah.
You get the kind of reverse issue where the work is almost stubbornly good in the face of zero atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I just thought this was one of those examples where ideally you want all the wrestling to be the standard, and sometimes it isn't in WWE. Sometimes some of the action does fall below this. But when the work is this baseline, mixed with the crowd as engaged and as loud as they are, it's sort of the perfect formula. Like anything this match and above is probably my dream wrestling event. Do you know, like I don't need everything to be 5-star. If anything, I want range. I want I want something of everything, which again doesn't necessarily have to be like low. I'm not saying like lowbrow comedy or so, but I don't mind a little bit of that folded in with everything else. When the fans are into it, you've sort of cracked it. It's just nice when the work is that level, because it is on occasion in WWE. Like you see it a bit more. Like Sidge has been making a point, and he's not wrong about the PLEs. There'll be like one like quite significant botch or something, like quite a high profile match in these like you get 5 spots on a PLE. So the idea is, well, nobody's going to F that up, and then somebody does, and you're like, oh, that's like you got to work to get it to meritocracy almost. This is the standard. Anything else above this is gravy.
After this, we see Belair walking backstage. She bumps into Naomi, who she sort of commiserates with her not losing the US title tournament. Byron Saxton shows up, though, and says, just to clarify, I know it wasn't Piper Niven that attacked Jade Cargill, because I saw her whilst this attack was supposedly happening. And Naomi lifts off people who could have done it, leaves herself off. Yeah. Belair says, look, I don't care. When I find out who did it, it's going to be on site. Again, Niven just... Naomi, the occasional glance, and her being like, well, it could be any one of these people. And that's the end of the list.
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun. It's good fun watching this play out.
And amongst all this was also a video package of Shinsuke Nakamura, of course, winning the US title at Survivor Series. And then out he came for his sort of post-title celebration, but he's immediately interrupted by LA Knight.
Yeah.
Who says he wants to talk to us. Says Nakamura isn't the real deal. He's cheated, cut corners, etc. to beat him, and he has had something that belonged to him. He wants his rematch, and he wants it right now. Nakamura just looks at him. And LA Knight, again, says, look, you've cheated. You've hit me with cheap shots. You've, gone for the eyes. You've dropped me on the middle bit of the Survivor Series thing. But I've got my LA Knight mist blockers, his sunglasses. We did mention that before, and he should have been wearing them. And he walks to the ring, but before anything can happen, Andrade's music hits. He comes out of the mic and says, look, I want to fight him as well for what he did to me. And LA's like, right, yeah, but I want to fight him first. And then when I beat him, you can have a title shot. Before anything gets sorted, though, here comes the new Bloodline. Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu show up and attack the both of them. Lay out Andrade, lay out LA Knight. And then they turn to Nakamura, who just sort of goes... and the black goo comes out, and they go, "No, you're all right, mate."
Yeah, right.
He just leaves.
Yeah. It's sort of like boil, like.
Don't hurt me, I'm made of goo.
Like friggin' when the Gremlins mutate in the film Gremlins.
I've never seen Gremlins.
You've never seen Gremlins? No. That's how I would. I think you'd enjoy Gremlins. I think you'd like it.
Never seen Gremlins, never seen Goonies, never seen a film beginning with G.
It's just not true.
The Green Mile, that doesn't count.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, I've seen Good Will Hunting. Gone Girl, I've seen actually.
2 films.
I've seen Gone Girl. That's 2 G's.
Ghostbusters.
Yes, we've discussed this. What is the best film beginning with G?
Have you seen Gladiator before?
Gladiator.
There you go. So you've actually seen the most
I've
amount
seen
of
all
films
the
you've ever
films
seen that
beginning
begin with G.
Except those 3.
Yeah. Starting again from now.
Adam Wilbourn finding the G spot.
Ghost. Seen Ghost.
Oh, God. You're a rare breed of podcaster because you won't find many people that, like, using this medium would try and prove themselves wrong. Like over it. You like a reverse Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Grease. Obviously seen Grease.
You've seen Grease too?
No.
Apparently it's better, isn't it?
Is it?
It's a bit of a hipster take, I think, but apparently Grease 2
Groundhog Day, seen Groundhog Day.
I'm in Groundhog Day.
Gangs in New York.
Gangs of New York, seen Gangs of New York.
Gravity.
Bit long for me.
Gravity in space.
Yes, that's the Sandra Bullock. I always get that and Interstellar confused.
Goodfellas.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of good films, actually.
The Godfather.
Never seen The
Oh,
Godfather.
you've never seen
Never
it,
seen
actually,
it.
yeah.
Never seen it.
We should. You keep missing him, but whenever Stacks is about,
I see him on Tuesdays, usually.
that's yeah, you do. Yeah,
Yeah, done it.
kind of forget that.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. And Louis Shoot hates that one.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
You've seen Get Out. I know you have.
I have. I've seen it on a flight about 5 years after it came out. Hey, guys, hot take. You seen this film? It's called Get Out. Recommend it. It's so late to that party.
Great Balls of Fire. That was cinema.
It's going to be on Netflix.
It is. You can find it right now.
Oh, yeah, it's a goo.
Great American Bears.
Yeah. I can't do that. It feels weird for that. The great American Bears.
And God bless the United States.
Goo. You seen Goo?
So yeah, Goo saves Andrade. Not Andrade, Shinsuke, I should say.
Yeah.
Because Andrade then gets held up for the spike. LA Knight makes the save. And Fatu's like, okay, we won't spike him then. I'll just kick his head off. And Solo hits both of them with spikes, actually, and grabs a mic and says the new Bloodline isn't finished all week. Anyone who thinks otherwise, step up and take a shot. I'm tired of not being taken seriously and people thinking I'm a joke. This isn't funny games. I'm still the tribal chief. You can laugh all you want, but I'm still the tribal chief. I'm still the head of the table. I've still got this hula falla. Anyone who comes down to the ring, you're going to have to do what everyone else has to do. Acknowledge me.
And I acknowledge Solo Sikoa for continuing to make great strides in his promo game this year.
Yeah.
Knew here when to turn down that kind of clownish persona that we've enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to be a leader and a complete buffoon. And yet he sort of mastered that the last few weeks and he just dialed it back a little bit. But I would argue here it was his like insecurity talking that made him toughen up.
Yeah.
Like this isn't him now trying to be Roman Reigns. He's a phony faker. But that is in itself this like quite clownish quality that he's trying to suppress. I'm harder than everybody. F off. Like that. There's a real like teeth grinding anger to his latest sort of message. And I like that it was LA Knight and Andrade because you have to make a choice pretty quickly. And like, I've got some bad news for Apollo Crews. Like you have to make a choice pretty quickly about who the people that are not going to take this lying down and the people that will just accept it. Apollo Crews, much like how he first got Pink Eye and the power to see into the future, will take it lying down. However, LA Knight and Andrade probably won't.
No.
And there'll be a receipt coming. And that's something interesting and new for the Bloodline to do that isn't directly related to the OG Bloodline ahead of whenever sort of they're going to do Roman and Solo probably for the Hula Falla, right? That's like, they'll probably just straight up book that match.
Yeah.
Hula Falla on a pole, whatever, I don't know. And then like you have the match and Roman finally beats him and takes care of that. Solo trying to keep his powder dry for a WrestleMania match? Like, you'd probably...
Maybe this is in reserve in case Dwayne...
Well, he's not telling us what he's f***ing doing. You cannot pick.
Having seen the box office numbers, I think counting his money from Moana 2 can take a while.
Kiss my ass, Dwayne. That's Moana money, innit? Come on. Like, I'll tell you what, right? Red One, The Rock can have all of that. All the praise, all the... That's his, that's safe. Moana, I think he's going to have to give that to the Team Moana. I don't think Dwayne can claim that one.
No.
You seen it yet? You not seen Moana 1, have you?
No, I haven't seen any film beginning with the letter M, actually. Now you mention it.
Yeah.
It's only your favourite film of all time, The Mask.
The Mask?
I'm counting that as the Moon.
Incorrect.
I've seen Moon.
Incorrect.
Man on the Moon?
Man on the Moon, seen that as well,
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Any Moon film. Moonrise Kingdom, you seen that?
Yep, seen all. Any film involving the moon, I've seen. If the moon is in a film, I've seen it.
Any film beginning with M, I've seen it.
Yes.
Yep, I've definitely seen it.
M's and G's.
Dial M for moon. That's my favourite.
Come on, Grimes up there fighting Bron Breakker.
Walking on the moon. Walking on the moon.
Get it down.
Any film, then. I've seen them all. Imagine that. What's your taste in films? Just ones that begins with M and G.
Yeah.
Anything.
MGM, that's where you got it from.
MGM Studios. That's where they got the name.
So in the back,
Could have picked another letter, but like, no, I like M
Yeah,
so much.
M again.
That one. Just
that looks a good film.
G&M.
What's it called? Oh, that's a shame.
Good.
What was the?
Wish I could have seen that.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was really great? David Bowie. Moonage Daydream. Have I made that up?
Moon Age Daydream, correct? Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Gosh,
Moon.
it's got Moon in the title.
My favourite character, the Moon, obviously. When he shows up, you're like, business about to pick
Whoa.
up.
Where's all the gravity?
Yeah.
When he shows up. Holy it's the Moon.
I've also now got a mental image of David Bowie working with the Moon from, what's this TV show? Not Flight of the Conchords, the other one.
Yeah, oh God.
Go on.
Come on, we can get there.
So-
Oh, Mighty Boosh.
Mighty Boosh, no.
It may because of them.
God,
I've seen
yeah,
every
I've seen
TV
Mighty
show
Boosh,
stars with
yeah.
them as
Seen
well.
it? Yeah, makes sense.
I love Lamb. They're the best. Of Julian Barrett in general. It's great in Nathan Barley.
Yeah, brilliant.
Unbelievable. That's by Chris. That's Morris, Chris.
I do also have a horrible memory of, I think it was Nathan Bartley, where the story of the episode is he's struggling with money and he plays like some sort of online gambling game until he can recover all of his debts, wins, jumps up in the air and pulls out the power cable for his computer. And it made me feel physically ill.
Just freezes on the screen, doesn't it? Yeah.
No. And I was like, there's got to be some sort of fail. They're saying a comedy series. There's got to be some sort of fail-safe for this, right? Hi, Nathan Barley.
Did you have a geek pie haircut in your Nathan Barley years?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. It's not a good track record, man. It's still not.
I don't know what you're talking about. You look dynamite.
Thanks, mate. Don't talk about that show. Right, backstage on SmackDown.
Get that out of here.
Johnny Gargano's having a chat with Tommaso Ciampa, who's happy about the title shot, but he hasn't forgotten about what happened the other week with Johnny. See you out there, he says, for the title match. We also then get, God damn, I should hate him, and I will when the time applies. But Kevin Owens saying, do you know what it feels like to be told you've got to come to telly to do a sit-down interview in Minneapolis with Michael goddamn Cole? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I've been showing up for weeks and been told I can't come in the building. So you know what? If Cole wants to interview me, come and do it in my car.
This was so inspired. Well, to cover it when we, what a piece of business this entire Kevin Owens thing was. It's magic. Well, like
You tweeted that he should win the title.
I think they need to strap up Kevin Owens. I really do. I think when they first put these two together, I had this sort of like, this might be the window. You put Cody in the Rumble, the babyface stuff, but it's not just about the belt or about what happens to Cody. It's Kevin Owens in this storyline feels championship ready, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And a perfect heel going into WrestleMania, you're probably not going to get a better one than Owens to carry that belt to go and lose it. Everyone's fantasy booking Zayn and Owens as it is. All of a sudden, if you elevate that with a title and Sami Zayn going one better than he managed last year with the Intercontinental,
wild, isn't it?
It's such a story there if they want to tell it. And I just feel like finally, it's one of those, it's a bit like when Vince McMahon would push Braun Strowman in his early days. Only every now and then does everybody have like a seat at that table. Like all the sort of stars and tastes align at the same time. I think what was once this kind of like fantasy booking, Kevin and Sami have gamed the system again, is now, no. People just adore watching these two. Heels, baby faces.
Yeah, they've not just kept their head above water, have they? Yeah.
They are significant and influential figures in the history of WWE, as mad as that still is to me to say.
Yeah, it's not like remember when his contract came up a while back and they were like, they might dangle a carrot of good booking in front of him.
Yeah.
Now it's like, why would you want to go anywhere else? He's main evented WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin, effectively. He's main evented with his mate.
Yeah. Nothing's the stuff you're saying just to sort of like make an excuse or like reveal a rule-proven exception. It's just, no. Like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are absolute 100% main eventers. You can rely on them anytime. Yes, Kevin Owens has been the Universal Champion, but that was so long ago that he's on this quest for world title. It feels brand new again. Sami Zayn's still never done it, so you've still managed to preserve that moment. People already did buy into the law between them, but WWE have been excellent at using that in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, especially. Like going back really to that, like, the singles match I had at 37 was more just a miracle graphic, wasn't it? It was like, good for them.
Was that the Logan Paul thing? Yeah.
It was more like an attaboy that they'd managed to get their match together.
Yeah.
Again, that's game in the system stuff. Now, people are just saying, well, you know what could be a WrestleMania main event? This world title match featuring 2 main eventers. It's not this not this revelatory thing, is it? We're not like sneak Kevin and Sammy on at the rest. It's not that anymore. No. Yeah, it's amazing.
Before all that, though, we had the WWE Tag Team titles on the line. The Motor City Machine Guns against DIY, of course, with a sort of half in, half out Johnny Gargano and a very much in Tommaso Ciampa. He jump starts the match. He attacks Chris Sabin, and he beats him up for a bit. It's back and forth, obviously, with the Machine Guns. And Alex Shelley's in there, and he's like, right, kick the crap out of Alex Shelley right now. And Gargano comes in and just sort of works the arm a bit. Ciampa's like, right, no, out you come. Yeah. Here's how it's done. Chops him, yells at Gargano to pay attention. But in the distraction of all that, obviously machine guns come back into it. They pose on the apron.
We've all done it.
We go to a break. They return, and Ciampa's got the upper hand. He's got a headlock. But he goes to give Alex Shelley a boot, and Shelley moves and he kicks the hell out of Johnny Gargano instead. Yells at Gargano, stupid! Goes for a fairy tale ending, but Shelley counters, gets the hot tag to Sabin, who cleans house. There's a crossbody from the top on Ciampa for a 2 count. Shelley tags in, and they work over Ciampa, go for a pin, etc., etc. Gargano's still down at ringside from that kick. But Ciampa fights back. There's a twisting neck breaker for a 2 count. Gargano finally reappears on the apron. Ciampa throws Shelley to the outside. Right, come on, time to do your thing. And tags in Gargano. And Gargano just gets Alex Shelley and rolls him back in the ring. Ciampa's like, what the hell are you doing? Kick his ass. Cheat a bit, basically. Yeah. And they shove each other. The split seems impending. And... it looks like they shove each other. Like I say, Gargano storms off. Well, Gargano seems to go to leave, and Ciampa goes to grab a chair. In amongst all this, the Motor City Machine Guns have got Gargano. Ciampa trying to get back in with the chair. Referee's like, you can't use that. And then, there it is. Out of nowhere, Gargano, as they're setting up for their finish, massive low blow to Chris Sabin, super kick to Shelley, and the smirk, the eating grin from Gargano in particular.
Oh my God.
Because Gargano walks over. Let's do it, mate. Tags in Ciampa. Meet in the middle on Chris Sabin. 1, 2, 3. DIY cheat to regain the tag team titles.
It's good broken, and thank God.
Oh, yeah.
I was rooting so much for this turn to take place because the weeks and weeks of, come on, guys, we'll just be friends, was excruciating. And as soon as Gargano did that, and with that exact same personality, but as a heel, he turned to Ciampa and was like, well, that worked. It was like, oh, thank God it was a plan. Thank God you will lull them into false sense of security.
And now all the previous weeks.
The DIY sort of the frustration that Ciampa has had outwardly that Gargano has hid in order to load the guns to this point at which you can take the belts off them can be basically rooted all the way back to the Guns getting that title match in the first place.
Yeah.
On that amazing SmackDown where they won both the shot and then won the belts in that cool overlapping story with the Bloodline. Just that amazing night in general. The belts ultimately were used. This wasn't belts making the men because you sign the MCMGs because they're already made, but to the WWE fan base that maybe never seen them before, because they're your favourite tag team, I suppose it's like the Ricochet and AEW problem at the moment, because you are the person that kind of like almost invented a style that then so many people have taken, that they've taken it forward and made you look a bit past it.
Yeah.
The belts immediately legitimise them.
Made, aren't they? Yeah.
As like, oh no, like, yeah, they might have been the originators and some people might have quietly surpassed them, but don't think they're not going to be top dogs. They're instantly champions. They're instantly the team to deal with, the team to beat. So that has done such an effective job at as establishing them as that, while creating the reason for the malice to form in DIY and them to put together this plan to get these belts back.
Yeah, or they're like, Gargano has to be the nicest possible guy. So when, at the moment, I assume that DIY were behind the Street Profits attack.
Yeah.
They go, oh, we meant to have a tag title match tonight. Now it's not going to happen. Gargano would be like, well, I suppose, I know Ciampa's a bit of a dickhead. Sorry about him.
Yeah.
We could just kind of step in if you want.
And
they're like, oh, actually, yeah, you've been pretty decent to us this whole time. Oh, I'm going to hoy you in the cock later.
Right up to the Street Profits attack, because the Street Profits have kind of been the fly in the ointment for DIY in this plan, because they've been able to get title shots and almost win the titles too. And it's like, I am using and abusing my friendship with Sabin and Shelley here.
Yes.
So I can't have you guys
That's why
coming in and
Ciampa
ruining
cost
it.
them the other week, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been really nicely plotted to like a swerve turn, but the one that needed to happen, because I didn't think of the version where DIY split again and watching them two foo-head. No, spot on. DIY's heels is the move. They were never...
Candice LeRae was celebrating with the backstage after this.
They're all heels together.
They're all terrible.
Yeah, like that's nicely timed. And look, we've got to be realistic about this. Did DIY ever get a pop that even came close to them at their like NXT mid-20 or late 2010s peak? They didn't on the main roster, did they? Like Triple H put so much into these two, singles and tag, like on the main roster. Never really generated the reactions, did it? Like they're kind of getting the start they probably need now, the fresh start they need as heels. Like this feels like the proper beginning of DIY rather than what we've seen in the last year or so from the two of them.
There's a far more legitimate title win almost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see where they go from here.
Yeah.
And how both tag teams that they kind of screwed over respond.
Yeah.
Love it.
Like as a result of all of this, the division feels in way better health, even though they've only introduced one new tag team in the mix. It's how everybody else has sort of bounced off that.
Right, let's call Kevin Owens David Hasselhoff because he told Michael Cole, jump in my car, for the interview. And Owens talks about...
It's in the Baywatch film with The Rock.
I've seen every film beginning with a letter B.
Okay.
Except for the B movie. I'll never watch that.
B movie?
Yeah.
With like, B story, basically, where the animals...
Actually, I have seen the B movie, but only that Twitter version where every time Jerry Seinfeld says the word, or someone says the word B, it doubles in speed.
Yeah.
And it's
They're all buzzing,
hilarious.
all buzzing by the end. In fact, the B movie I haven't seen. Well, I have seen it, in fact.
Yes.
Just as a tweet.
Yeah,
rather
only
than
as a
film.
tweet.
As an X-speed tweet.
It's brilliant.
What other B films are there?
Bad Boys?
Bean, the ultimate disaster movie.
Check.
Bad Boys 2.
Check.
What was the...
Beethoven? Check.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't there like Bad Boys Even Badder or something? Like one recently this year.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Seen that, obviously.
Bean 2.
Yep. Beetlejuice.
Back to the Future, 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
We're
going, we don't need bees.
Well, not topping that.
I banged my head on when I walked into the studio this morning. I do apologise.
I feel like that.
So,
It's all the glue in it.
it is. That's what's... The wall fell over, by the way. We've not been... Looked like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. The wall fell over before we started filming. Apologies.
For anybody who really doesn't have that brain capacity, it's obviously not a shoot wall.
Yeah.
That's why it fell over.
I
mean, sorry, it is
bees,
a complete
hundreds of
shoot
bees.
wall. Bees.
We don't need bees. I wish that was now, because we do, don't we? We need bees.
Yeah.
They're not coming in the honey or whatever it is they do. Some at BJ's, we need it, don't we? Is that right?
Nice.
Coming in the honey.
I was in a low set in science, but I know that like those bees be spunking to keep us all alive or something. I don't know what it is exactly.
I'm not. I think you.
Honey, you
you
mean
kind of lost the thread a little bit. I feel here because I don't think it's like honey is the life force of humans, but that is one good thing. But surely it's like the pollinating stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying like honey.
God, what are we gonna do without all that honey? Winnie the Pooh.
I hate Winnie the Pooh. I'm glad. I hate Winnie the Pooh, and I hate when
Add
people
him to the list.
And I hate when people go, "Oh, Pooh Bear," like proper Tory kid stuff. Winnie the Pooh and Blue Peter, yourself. You lived
Blue-
a richer upbringing than I had. Like they're
Blue Peter's proper Tory, innit?
Pooh Bear. Like it's the way it's illustrated. It's like friggin' threads. Like we're Twitter but nicer threads. It's like we're cartoons but nicer. It's Pooh Bear. It's like I don't want to go on my own piglet. F off, Pooh. I'm sad.
What was the name of that other fella? He's
The boy that hung around with him.
Rupert the.
Oh, he was another arsehole.
the Bear.
Rupert the Bear.
I knew you wouldn't like him as well. Yeah, his little
scarf and his little trousers. He's like, oh god, he's awful.
looks like he's fresh out at first year of uni, literally anywhere. Oh, class! Mother sent me to go get study. Let's get crunk.
Go on some adventure to a lake where we may fish with a net. Or something. I don't know what Rupert the Bear gets. He's awful, Rupert the Bear. Is it Rupert the Bear or just Rupert Bear?
Yeah, Rupert the Bear. But I only remember that from a Shooting Stars Christmas special song. Don't know why.
Got a big red jumper and a yellow scarf with black
That's the one.
checks on it.
Yeah. I don't like Rupert. I don't like Pooh. Any other?
You don't like Paddington either, do you?
I do not like Paddington.
You hate every bear.
Apparently I do. I used to, another thing I was no good at in science, but when I would do food chains at school, I've definitely told you this on a podcast before.
Isn't your food chain not eat, stab, bob, or whatever it is?
That's my food chain, but when you had to like sort of make your own one up based on what you'd learned about like nature and stuff. Right.
He's the ultimate warriors at the top.
Yeah. He's the champ.
Mine was grass, cow, man, bear. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And respectfully, with no weapons.
Yeah.
You're correct.
It works.
You are
That's
correct.
nature.
Yeah.
Like,
You like the TV show The Bear?
I love the TV show The Bear.
Yeah.
There's the bear I like.
There's the exception,
Not the
Got nothing to do with bears.
nothing to do with bears for the most part.
Oh, no spoilers, in case people haven't seen it.
I
People picturing, so who's the chef back there? Don't let them see it.
Honestly, it's great. It's this restaurant. Have you ever seen the Avengers where they all come together? It's Winnie the Pooh, Paddington Bear, Rupert the Bear. They all start cooking food. It's great.
I don't know when people say, I don't know why, but I'm convinced there's a psyop. You've seen that phrase before. So and so is a psyop. I don't fully know what those words mean.
No.
However, I'm convinced that people liking Paddington is a psyop.
Okay.
I have a real stick up my ass about people without kids thinking that they can talk kids movies.
Oh, I see.
And I think a lot of that is rooted in Paddington. It's like this smug. Do you know? Paddington is actually quite good for a kids movie. I'll be the judge of that because how many kids movies?
Yeah,
do
you know
watch
the
full stop?
scale.
How many do you watch with kids to judge their reaction?
That's a good
And
point.
not lie about it and say, well, my kid's favorite film was actually I don't know, A Clockwork Orange or something. He's kind of more artistic than your kid.
It's the Emoji Movie, isn't it? It's like the talking poo.
Yeah, Pooh speaks with eyes. Which reminds me, by the way, did you see somebody made a shoot brick and crowbar over the weekend? Bumped into them.
Oh, I did see it.
It was Jay Fraser, I
Yes,
think.
it was. I was going to say.
The man who is continuing to put together the collage of the SmackDown tangents, of which, well, you've just added a bunch of cartoon bears,
Good
pal.
luck with that.
Yeah, not to make it too difficult, but you need to put every film beginning with the letters B, M, and G on there.
BMG. Don't they make Grand Theft Auto? BMG.
Oh, did they?
On one of the original ones.
Sorry, I've just gone onto Twitter to try and double check who it was, and I've just seen your tweet about a tweet about picture of Hulk Hogan on there. Go and check it out at Michael Hamflett.
Really popped us this
That's
morning.
Saturday Night's real main event right there.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Oh, I don't like the Paddington movies. I think they're...
Don't like bears from the south,
No.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paddington Peru was the worst of the bunch as well, but like Paddington 2 is... It's just fine. It's just a fine kids film, but the way people talk about it, like, finally, like Citizen Kane has been topped or
beat
something.
Citizen Kane, didn't he? In, best film ratings or whatever.
What are we doing, man? Come on. Like,
You want to talk cinema?
I don't mind the films, the Paddington films, right? People talk about it too, like it's this,
yeah.
and the first one for me is the one.
Oh, really?
I preferred it more. Like,
The first one's the best of
the
bunch,
second
yeah.
one is just like, what if Wes Anderson did it and we stole the entire scene
Yeah.
where they're in the prison and they're all wearing them funny jumpsuits? That's basically it.
There's this like subconscious insincerity from people, this kind of like hair ruffling of a multi-gazillion quid franchise as if it's like the little engine that could. Come on. Anyway.
Speaking of cinema, Michael Cole goes to see Kevin Owens in his car.
This is cinema.
Owens talks about how many times he wasn't allowed to even be at the building in recent weeks. Cole says he wants to do an unbiased interview, and Owens scoffs at this. Cole says, well, we're friends. I've been a long-time supporter of yours. And he's like, well, if that's the case, Michael, considering you haven't got any friends.
Sorry, the way I just did the camera cuts there made it look like you talked to him.
If that's the case, Michael, maybe you shouldn't have had so much to drink last night.
Maybe you should have come to the staff too, properly, dickhead.
Sorry, Adam. Adam.
But he can't see how Cole can see things the way Owens is describing things. Talks about Cody teaming with Roman and leaving in 2016. Then Cody Rhodes has the cheek to call him an egomaniac and has 3 sets of pyro for his entrance. He's got a point.
Yep.
Cole said, look, everyone thought it was a good idea to help Roman. And Owens says, look, Jimmy and Jay, they're always pawns for Roman anyway. One day I'll catch up with Sami Zayn. Just threw that line away, but also...
had a lot of heft to it, didn't it?
He said Cole doesn't understand betrayal because he hasn't got any mates. He got no f***ing mates. He says to Michael Cole, and he says, Cody stabbed him in his back. That's what Kevin Owens insists. And nice line here. Cole's like, come on, Kev, I think you're being a bit petty. I think you should look in the mirror. Okay, I see a handsome man who's absolutely right.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
Cole said, I think you're the problem, Kevin. And Owens yells at Michael Cole, get out of my rental vehicle. Michael Cole leaves, or goes to leaves the car at least. And then Owens goes, oh, Michael, sorry, one more thing. And he just puts the window up on Mike. See you later, dickhead. Drives off.
The pops in the building for this little routine, in fact, this type 5 from Kevin Owens here. God damn, this was so funny. And I've always advocated that, like, funny can be money. There's this idea that you can never do comedy in a world title match or a world title program.
And heel funny as well.
Yeah, you absolutely can. It's just got to be good. And I love wrestling, but like a lot of wrestling isn't a good version of anything but wrestling. Mm-hmm. Kevin Owens was sublime here. So this is the usual Kevin Owens thinks he's right, and here's how he's going to twist your words. In this case, Michael Cole is all of us, but twist the words of Michael Cole to fit his narrative in the same way that he's been doing with Cody. And it's like a staple of Triple H's heel booking now, isn't it? He kind of gets his heels to do this. It's that point that Mick Foley once made about how righteous you have to be as a heel. He kind of just turns it all the way up, and every single one of the heels believes in their heart of hearts, in their jar of farts, that they're right. I said it because I knew it had just sat at the front of your brain otherwise.
Yeah, thanks.
That they have to be right. They have to be correct. And it's because it's like that in all of our lives. It's quite it's an unappealing trait, isn't it? Like the sort of the person that like has to be right at all costs. And you're like, it's fine if you're not. It's okay. Mm-hmm. But then when they are right, you're like, well, yeah, but they are right. So I kind of understand why they're kind of like indignant about something, you know, because you would want to, you know, what the hell did I do? You know, that he's just the best at doing that. And this is one of the best character traits Triple H is able to book. So it's such a sweet spot for the pair of them to be working in. And it's for the world title. And it's against the top babyface. And he's got so much credit in the bank that he can deliver these pops and just make the audience piss themselves in the building. They're watching this on a screen. And they're just like it's like a Friends audience or something. It's just the canned laughter you can hear from I say handsome man, what's the point of that? And then the window spot, like people are just laughing.
Yeah.
He's really, really funny. He's relatable, but like not anyway alienating Cody Rhodes. This isn't like a John Cena feud from way back when where people are like, I'm just 100% behind you, mate. Like, screw this guy. That's not happening when he's actually in there with Cody. He's then positioned as the vicious, nasty person you want to see lose and get his comeuppance or whatever. And you get a bit of that at the end of this, this SmackDown. It's perfection. It is perfection. Completely on the hook for a title change and won't be any less satisfied even if they don't deliver one. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at with this.
It's sort of the polar opposite of what they had with Roman towards the end, or certainly in the build to 39, where you're like, I could easily see a title change here, but if that doesn't happen, they'll have something even better coming next. KO, Sammy, Cody, obviously. Next week, it's Bayley versus Chelsea Green and Michin versus Tim Stratton in the semi-finals of the US title tournament. Gunther is on SmackDown, chatting to the SmackDown GM. Can't remember what his name is. Carmelo Hayes walks up, and he's pissed off, obviously. First-round draft pick, and he's not being talked to now. He's thinking, where do I fit in all this? Maybe I'll head to Monday nights. Monday Night Mellow sounds good to him. And SmackDown GM's like, I'll be honest, getting rid of you would be one of the best things that could happen to me. But I've got someone special in mind for you. And Mellow's like, well, it's about time I'm finally being treated right. And what? Oh, you've gone. It's already left.
Good stuff for the preview, isn't it? For who it's going to be. I think there's some interesting shouts from outside of WWE, just as much as there could be somebody from within the system. And Gunther on SmackDown, transfer window talk, all this sort of stuff. All the more reason why you could theoretically buy Kevin Owens beating Cody Rhodes and maybe staying put on SmackDown while Cody potentially goes back to Raw. Transfer window certainly seems set up to get these rosters the way they want them for the Netflix launch. And that includes lifting a bunch of talent out of NXT, of which we can see a lot of that top line. There's anyone in the women's division that might be a good fit. But I'm going to miss that bit.
I'll just remind Sid, she was from NXT. Forever. You've forgotten.
Of course, before she was on the main roster. They could heavily stack Raw again. Kind of with almost like no subtlety like they did when SmackDown first went to Fox.
Yes.
So what are you left with in the aftermath? You need super credible heels and baby faces when the unspoken thing is Raw's definitely 100% the A show against SmackDown's the B. You could see Cody going, but you could see Kevin staying.
Yeah.
And if he's got the WWE title, all the more reason. And it's so interesting to think about where all these cards are going to fall.
Or they just trade the world champions.
Or that, yeah.
Which
possibly,
it does seem fair. You know, as you used to do it, and you'd be like,
Gunther,
that doesn't seem like a very fair exchange.
It's kind of been a little bit forgotten now, but a lot of Gunther's important foundational Intercontinental title stuff was done on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But speaking of Cody Rhodes, he was in the main event against Chad Gable, of course. They worked brilliantly together early on. Just that drop-down punch of his, suplex, vertical for a ridiculously long period of time. Ivy Nile jumps up on the apron to distract Cody, though, and that allows Gable to go after kick the leg out of his leg, basically, or the ankle, I suppose. There's a dragon screw leg whip in there, and he slams his leg against the post as we go to a break. When we come back, he's going for an ankle lock. Gable drop kicks his leg as Cody tries to make a comeback. There's loads of chops in there. He hits a flying headbutt from the top for 2. Goes up top again, but Cody cuts him off and hits an inverted superplex.
Oh my God.
They go back and forth. Gable runs at Cody and gets hit with that snap power slam. Cody hits a disaster kick despite, my bloody leg. Also hits a Cody cutter. But as he goes to the pin, Julius Creed pulls Gable to the outside. The referee's like, that's it. Rest of America made piss wife. Gable in amongst all this, though, takes Cody's boot off and works an ankle lock. Cody counters by sending Gable into the turnbuckle. Goes up top, hits a Cody cutter from the top with one boot on. He goes to the crossroads, but Gable, nice reversal into an ankle lock. And Cody has to make it to the ropes. Gable German suplexes him, goes up top, but misses the moonsault, and Cody hits the crossroads to get the 1-2-3.
What a lovely bit of business this was. Cody Rhodes is a gift that keeps on giving. I think to WWE, you could track how every bit of value he has offered since coming back in 2022 has sort of evolved from, this is one of the biggest optics wins over the opposition you could ever have. And then it's like, wow, he goes away injured and then comes back to a completely different creative regime that won't mishandle him as you kind of sense Vince McMahon inevitably would have done, just in the way that he kind of blew everything.
Stardust versus Shorty G is a match I could have seen
sooner
on main event, not Saturday night's main event. Yeah. Main event.
Sooner or later, everybody's character would suffer, and he might come around again, but God knows what he'd have to suffer to. And then we've told stories, then we've finished stories, we've headlined WrestleMania after WrestleMania, we've become the fan base behind a John Cena, I'm saying while so many people are at an age that at one point or other was told, this isn't for you anymore. Like, and I've said this before, I think like it was over-criticised that John Cena was for women and children, because newsflash, that's 2/3 of your audience.
Yes.
And like the whinging millennial man is 1/3. Like the Cody Rhodes being for everybody world champion happens because of matches like this. It's not just the big moments. It's not just the move from AEW. It's everything combined into an honest to God TV main event that is of, to go back to Bianca Belair and Piper Niven, like above that. Well, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, it's above that standard.
We all know who's going to win, but
100% of the time. Cody Rhodes has 100% record of having these matches, right? He is that John Cena you've raised the bar to impossibly high. And he has met that bar, and he has raised the bar in an altogether different way, which is in a way that people actually are more passionately invested without this kind of, he divides the crowd, like half the audience love him, half the audience hate him, but at least he gets a reaction. That like lifetime of bargaining has disappeared. He's just the top babyface who wins and does it in a variety of different ways. So when he has to get technical here against Chad Gable, when he has to survive injuries, when he has to go through like physical and emotional hell to like he does in some of these storylines when it gets quite like dark or into like talking about his dad or whatever, there is simply nothing Cody Rhodes can't do. And if there are things, you never, ever, ever see them because they obscure them and just put something else he can do in your face. I know this might sound like I'm overstating just a straightforward Chad Gable TV match, but that's honestly what I'm sat there thinking. I'm kind of marveling at how Cody Rhodes has normalized being exceptional. Like a true one-off in an era when it's probably like never been more of a like, I don't want to say pleasantly competitive, more sort of like there's a competitiveness that doesn't feel quite as Shark Tanky as Jim Ross's Attitude Era roster. You can see it with him and Roman, Cody and Roman, and Punk is obviously right there. Like, Cody is the man for this time, and there's probably no better spot to be in when you know this is your time. It's magic to watch.
Love the post-match as well, because afterwards, Cody's, he's just scraped through with a bad ankle, but he's survived. He's beaten Chad Gable. And then, of course, I thought you left. Kevin Owens reappears, and in a obvious thing that everyone's pointed out on social media, in the title match, he couldn't bring himself to even target or even go after Cody's injury. Not here. He immediately stamps on the foot that's got no boot on it, on the injured ankle. Officials come in and separate them. Cody's like, no, I'm not having that. Big suicide dive onto Kevin Owens on the outside, and they have to be separated on numerous occasions, pull aparts, etc. And they keep going for each other, and the show goes off the air with people chanting, let them fight.
I mean, that's perfect, isn't it? That's what you want if the fans actually want to see this. Aye, brilliant again. Owens, as we talked about, like knowing how to flick the switch from being the stand-up comedian in the car to being the vicious heel in the beatdown. Cody accused him in that promo the other week, one of the particularly great face-to-faces they've had, of not being able to pull the trigger. And Owens like, well, I'll do it in a post-match, mate, let alone when the title's on the line. This is different gravy. Like, we are in completely different territory to where we were before. So you as a fan, if you're on this Cody hype train, which I've just articulated that I certainly still am, you are dreading it. Like what Kevin Owens will do to win this title. It's absolutely captivating. Inch perfect.
Yeah, brilliant ending to the show, and a hell of a penultimate go-home ahead of Saturday night's main event this weekend, of course. But let us know your thoughts on SmackDown in the comment section or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there, you can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow our brilliant producer at
It's Adam Nicholas.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts, the Collision review and Raw previews coming your way later on today. And we've got lots of more exciting stuff coming on later this week, as well as whatculture.com/shop for our brilliant new merchandise. But for now, code WrestleCulture for 10% off. But for now, this has been the SmackDown review, where DIY cheated to win the tag team titles. We saw Cody Rhodes versus Chad Gable in the main event. The new Bloodline attacked LA Knight and Andrade. Tiffany Stratton advanced in the US title tournament. And Michael Cole interviewed Kevin Owens in his rental vehicle.
The SmackDown review. It's got all this and so much more.
We'll see you soon.